I mean, we have to gain more knowledge ourselves as individuals and what needs to be done for ourselves instead of looking to the government, even with a black president, because this system is on the way out. So, I mean, if we depending on that, then I mean, you know, we riding on the Titanic. This Titanic been hit the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of how soon the water is going to consume it. So, I mean, while we should be prideful that the brother made it in, but we have to still make sure that we don't stop doing for ourselves, because that's what's going to save us in the end.
Right. So, what was the spark that actually caused you to change your worldview, and have you ever fallen for the illusion of, you know, the way most people view the world and affairs in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the illusion, just like a lot of us. You know, I grew up leaving milk and cookies for Santa Claus when I was a little boy, and the things of that nature. So I mean, it's not something that people can we can be blamed for because we were ignorant to it. But once you grow older and you come into certain bodies of knowledge, and then you stand them up against what you've been taught all your life, and then they're researchable to the degree where you can prove it, what you believe in comparison to what you've been taught all your life, then you make a change, you know, and hopefully the change is for the better. So, and then as an artist, I try to translate that through my music, because in the beginning it was all about the music. For me, it was all about the music, let's do this. But now, as you grow older, you realize that it's all about the message, and the music is just a tool, that a gift God gave you to relay the message. The message is bigger than the music. So whatever your gift is, you know, if you are somebody who's rooted in some kind of message or wisdom or some spirituality, you know, you have to use that to translate that over.
And earlier you had mentioned about knowledge and us getting our knowledge. Where do you get your knowledge? What do you read? What do you watch? You know, what are the things that kind of help to keep your wheels turning in, you know, digesting and interpreting, you know, the world around us?
My source is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, plain and simple. Just, you know, everything, he's the source of it all. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, through Minister Farrakhan now, because he's the greatest relayer of the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In my opinion, the greatest example that we have as a leader, not just a black leader, just as a world leader. So I get a lot of my guidance from them and from the books of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like Message to the Black Man and Theology of Time and Fall of America and Our Savior Arrived, How to Eat to Live. These are the books that relate to everyday life right here in 2012 going into 2013, books that were written in the 50s and the 60s. So he had a better grip and a better handle on the future than most people had on the present and the past. So, I mean, you know, he's the man for me.
I see. Well, it makes sense that because I think a lot of the things that we saw Elijah Muhammad talk about, and now Farrakhan in modern day talking about, are some of the same issues that have plagued the black community over the past, 40, 50, 60 plus years. Right. And one of the things that we discuss here at Axiom Amnesia is how a lot of those things really haven't changed, even though maybe just like with Obama, you have blacks in more prevalent positions. But for the average everyday black person living in America, the struggle is still very much on,
Right, without question. I mean, that's a great point, because I think that we fall under the illusion that and white people do this to us a lot, because what they do, they say, well, y'all have a lot of opportunity now. They'll say, look at Oprah, look at Bill Cosby, look at Tyler Perry. They'll go down a list of the handful of our people that have slipped through the cracks or have so-called made it or reached that level, but it gets swallowed up in comparison to the millions and millions of us who are still going through that struggle, or who are still looking to even find what their purpose in life is. So just those few people that reach that level, that can't be a smokescreen to make us feel like, okay, now we've all arrived. You know,
Right.
that's one of the biggest misconceptions that we have. I mean, we have to figure out what it is we're born to do, and then manifest that to the fullest as individuals, and then come together collectively to make it even better. Our unity is what's going to dominate, what's going to be bigger than anything we try to do individually. We come together. That's the only thing that's holding us back. If you look at any race of people, like you were speaking about how we've been going through this for the same 30, 40, 50 years, it's all because a lack of a unified effort by black people on the whole. I mean, when we came out of slavery, when we left the plantations, we established businesses. We had sections of town that were black owned this, black owned that, all the way down the line. But then when we came into that need for integration, when we wanted to sit at the same tables with white folks and eat out of the bowl of chili that they spit in the back and all this good stuff, we allowed our businesses to shut down in our fight to integrate with them, when we should have just maintained what we had, like you see the Chinese do. You know, every major city got a Chinatown, and you ride through Chinatown, you see banks, you see Chinese grocery stores,
right.
Chinese cleaners. They got the whole strip sold up, and you're not going to walk in there and fill out an application. I'm not going to walk in there and fill out an application. You walk in there, you're going to see them employing their own people and creating an economy within this nation we're living in right now. That's a perfect example of what we should be doing. So it's knowledge. It all boils down to the knowledge. If we never really grasp that concept, or we don't have the love for each other and self to even go into business with each other and pool our resources like that, then it's not going to happen. Because guess what we do? You know how we do it. It's like, oh, man, Johnny got a hamburger joint up the street. Oh, man, I ain't eating at that
Right.
nigga spot, man. I mean, I went over there one time. He ain't getting no ketchup. You know, we quick to condemn each other, but we'll let the white man mistreat us over and over again, and we keep going back. So, I mean, we have to develop a love for each other and tolerance for each other's flaws. We can correct each other without taking it personal, and we'll be more successful in the long run.
So do you think that, and just kind of to backtrack on this whole conversation, that it's this search or need for acceptance in terms of, you know, us as blacks and trying to be accepted by this mainstream culture that clearly in a lot of ways doesn't want to accept us, except in a few areas, you know, where we can be used for profit and gain. Do you think that that's the root of the problem?
I mean, yeah, because it points to an identity crisis that we have as black people. See, we don't even know who we are. We don't even know where we come from. See, I equate it to how it is in rap culture. You know, you see a lot of rappers. I'm the Don. I'm this. I'm Corleone. I'm such and such Gotti. We claim all these different nationalities and these names, but we never claim our own. See, so we have an identity crisis. We have a low self-esteem that's whether it be outright or whether it be implanted subliminally in us. We just don't have a love for ourselves. So in the long run, if we can develop that and get a grasp of who we are, we won't go out our way to try to be accepted by people who in reality don't even want to accept us. They can't feed their own right now. You know, so we break our backs to try to get in those doors, when instead of just saying, you know what, instead of me trying to get in this door, let me build my own situation over here. And that carries more respect. That carries more respect. See, that's why, going back to the Elijah Muhammad, that's why he, even though they didn't like him necessarily, they respected him more than they respected a brother, say, like a Martin Luther King, because he wasn't beating on their door trying to get in. He was like, you know what? We're going to build our own trucks, and we're gonna have our own fish. We're going to import our own fish. We're going to have our own restaurants and things of that nature. So it was nothing that they could say or do to deter that. You know, they couldn't say, well, you know, y'all begging for this, or we're going to line up law enforcement to eliminate y'all, or stand out there and we're going to beat y'all and spray you with water hoses. Hey, man, look, what's for you is for you. If you don't want me involved in it, then I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. I'll just establish my own.
Right.
And we got to get back to that. We got to get to that as black people and even as artists, because we're so quick to try to listen. Let me see if I can sign this deal with this guy, and that's fine, but you should have a bigger vision in mind.
Axiom Amnesia.
Thanks for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe to us. Also, visit us on the website at axiomamnesia.com. Follow us on Twitter at Axiom Amnesia. Join the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/axiomamnesia. And email us at feedback@axiomamnesia.com.